Have you ever sat quietly and thought about the good people you've known over the years? Friends, family, people who worked hard their whole lives, always tried to do the right thing, listen to their doctors. And yet, for some reason, they never got to blow out the candles on their 90th birthday cake. It almost feels unfair, doesn't it? We all share this quiet hope to live a long, full life. But what if I told you that for millions of Americans, that journey is being cut short, not by bad luck, but by simple daily habits that we all mistake for being normal or even sensible? And here's the nightmare that no one talks about. Shocking research now suggests that adopting a few of these seemingly harmless routines can silently sabotage your body from the inside out, potentially accelerating aging and disease. As a doctor with over 2 decades of experience working with seniors, I have seen a truth that is often hard to accept. It's rarely bad genes that stop people from thriving in their later years. It's these quiet, everyday habits. I'm not just talking about theory. I think of my patient, John, a vibrant 72-year-old who loved his garden. Within a year, he seemed to age a decade. He was foggy, unsteady, and his family thought it was just old age. But it wasn't. It was a combination of these 5 silent habits. In this video, I am not here to scare you. I am here to arm you. We are going to bring all 5 of these habits into the light. I will show you why they are so dangerous, and I will give you the simple, practical steps to protect yourself. And please, make sure you stick around until the end. The 5th habit I'll reveal is the one most overlooked, and understanding it is perhaps the single most important thing you can do to protect your mind. The information in that final section might just change the course of your life. Everything I share is based on solid medical science, not rumors. Before we dive in, I truly want to know if this feels familiar. If you've ever worried about these things for yourself or a loved one, please take a moment to comment a simple yes below. It shows others in our community that they are not alone. Okay, let's get started. Alright, let's begin with the very first silent habit, the one that often hides in plain sight on our kitchen counters. Habit number 1. The pill organizer trap. It starts so innocently, doesn't it? It begins with one little pill for blood pressure prescribed by your family doctor. A few years later, a specialist adds another one for cholesterol. Then maybe something small to help you sleep through the night, or another for that nagging acid reflux. You're doing the responsible thing, following doctor's orders. But then one morning, you look down at that colorful weekly pill organizer, and it hits you. It looks like a candy box. You're now taking 7, 10, maybe even 12 different pills every single day, often prescribed by different doctors who rarely, if ever, talk to each other. This is a quiet epidemic that we doctors call polypharmacy. And for seniors, it is a treacherous path. The science is very clear. Once you are on 5 or more medications, the risks don't just add up, they multiply. Imagine all those drugs inside your body. It's like a traffic jam at a busy intersection. One medication can suddenly block another from working, rendering it useless. Or even worse, 2 medications can collide and dangerously amplify each other's effects, creating a reaction you never expected. Now, here is the crucial reason this becomes so much more dangerous as we age. Our liver and kidneys. Think of them as faithful, old engines. They've been working hard for us for decades, but they just don't run as fast as they used to. They can't clear substances out of our system with the same efficiency. This means that a dose of a medication that was perfectly safe for you at age 55 can become toxic at age 75. Your body simply can't process it and get rid of the excess in time, allowing it to build up to harmful levels. And this is where we connect the dots to how you might be feeling every day. That constant, bone-deep fatigue that you can't seem to shake? That frustrating brain fog that makes it hard to find the right word? Those mysterious bruises that appear on your arms out of nowhere? So often, I have patients come into my office convinced that this is just what getting old feels like. But it's not. In so many cases, it is a direct side effect of medication overload. Major studies published in respected medical journals have shown, without a doubt, that for seniors, polypharmacy dramatically increases the risk of the very things we fear most: life-altering falls, severe confusion, and emergency hospitalizations. This brings to mind my patient, Carol. A wonderfully sharp woman of 78, she came to me in a panic, convinced she was in the early stages of dementia. She was forgetting conversations, misplacing her keys constantly, and feeling disoriented in her own home. Her family was terrified. As we talked, I discovered she had recently been prescribed a new, powerful medication for her arthritis by a specialist. It turns out that the new pill was interacting with her long-standing sleep aid. The combination was causing severe confusion. It wasn't dementia at all. We worked with her specialist to adjust her treatment, and I'll tell you, the change was like night and day. Within 2 weeks, Carol called me, her voice bright and clear. She was back to her sharp, witty self, doing her crossword puzzles and telling me she felt like her brain had been given a new lease on life. Her story is a powerful reminder that you have more control than you think. You have the power to stop this silent habit. The solution is simple, but it is one of the most important things you can do for your health. It's called a brown bag review. I want you to schedule an appointment with your primary doctor for this one single purpose. Gather up every single pill you take. Prescriptions, over-the-counter drugs, vitamins, supplements, everything, and put them all in a bag. Go to that appointment and ask your doctor 2 powerful questions. Which of these are still absolutely essential for my health right now? And are there any we can safely reduce or even eliminate? You are the CEO of your own health. It's time to call a board meeting. If you believe managing medications wisely is the key to a healthier future, take a moment right now and comment the word review below. It's a promise to yourself to stay in control. Now, let's move on to the second silent habit, which is found right in our refrigerators and pantries. Habit number 2. The healthy food illusion. We've all been there. You walk into the grocery store, determined to do the right thing for your body. You bypass the chips and the sugary sodas. Instead, you reach for the whole grain cereals with the heart-healthy sticker, the low-fat cookies, and the sugar-free yogurt, thinking you are making the right choice. We have been taught our whole lives to look for these labels. But I'm here to tell you that the food industry has become a master of illusion. The hard truth is, many of these so-called healthy foods are actually chemistry projects in a box. When they take the fat out of a product, they have to add something back in to make it taste good. What do they add? Usually, heaps of sugar and sodium. When they take the sugar out, they replace it with a cocktail of artificial sweeteners, like aspartame and sucralose. These ingredients, the hidden sugars, the chemical sweeteners, the processed grains, are the primary fuel for a slow-burning fire inside our bodies that doctors call chronic inflammation. And inflammation is now recognized by scientists as one of the root causes of nearly every age-related disease, from heart disease to arthritis to memory loss. Here is why this becomes critically important as we get older. 2 things happen. First, our bodies become more sensitive to these inflammatory ingredients. But just as importantly, our natural sense of thirst begins to fade. You simply don't get the same signal from your brain telling you it's time to drink. This means that many seniors are living in a state of quiet, chronic dehydration without even knowing it. Even mild dehydration thickens your blood, which puts a strain on your heart. It slows down your digestion and metabolism, and it is a massive, and I mean massive, contributor to dizziness, weakness, and falls. So let's connect this to how you feel. That predictable afternoon slump that hits you like a ton of bricks every day? That persistent, nagging joint pain that never seems to go away? That feeling of being bloated and uncomfortable after meals? Very often, these aren't random symptoms of aging. They are direct messages from your body, telling you that it's struggling with the inflammatory foods you're eating and the water you're not drinking. The science on this is overwhelming. Research directly from the American Heart Association has clearly linked the regular consumption of artificial sweeteners to a higher risk of stroke and heart disease. It's not a guess. It's a documented risk. I think about my patient, Bill, a wonderful man who was incredibly frustrated. He had stubbornly high blood pressure, even though he was diligently taking his medication every day. We sat down and looked at his diet. He was so proud of his healthy breakfast, a big bowl of a popular whole grain cereal. We looked at the label together. That healthy cereal had more sugar per serving than a candy bar. It was a sugar bomb masquerading as health food. On my advice, he made one simple swap. He replaced the cereal with 2 eggs and a slice of avocado. He changed nothing else. 1 month later, he came back to my office with a huge smile on his face. His blood pressure was the best it had been in over a decade. He felt more energetic and had even lost a few pounds without trying. Bill's story shows that you don't need a complicated diet plan to reclaim your health. You just need to choose real food. The solution is an easy-to-remember guideline I call the 5-5-5 rule. First, the 5-ingredient rule. When you buy packaged food, flip it over and look at the label. If it has more than 5 ingredients, put it back on the shelf. Real food doesn't need a long list of chemicals. Second, drink 5 glasses of water before 5 p.m. Don't wait until you feel thirsty. Make it a non-negotiable part of your daily routine. And third, eat 5 different colors of fruits and vegetables every single day. This is the simplest way to ensure you're flooding your body with the anti-inflammatory vitamins and antioxidants it needs to thrive. Every meal is a choice. You can either feed the disease or you can fight it. Alright, our third silent habit is one that often begins with the best of intentions, born from a desire to stay safe. Habit number 3, the safety first movement prison. It almost always starts with a small scare. Maybe you trip on a rug but catch yourself just in time. Or perhaps you feel a moment of dizziness when you stand up too fast. It's a fleeting moment of fear, but it plants a seed in your mind. And that seed of fear starts to grow, and soon, it begins making decisions for you. A little voice in your head starts whispering, "Maybe I should take the elevator from now on. I probably shouldn't try to lift those groceries myself. You know, it's probably safer if I just stay home today." You believe you are being prudent. You think you are protecting yourself. But here is the tragic irony that I have seen play out hundreds of times. The more you try to protect yourself by not moving, the weaker and more vulnerable you actually become. This creates a devastatingly vicious cycle that we doctors have a name for: sarcopenia. It's the medical term for age-related muscle loss. The less you move, the weaker your muscles become. Weaker leg and core muscles lead to worse balance. A worse balance leads to a much higher risk of falling. And the higher your risk of falling, the more terrified you become of moving. And so the cycle continues, spiraling downwards, robbing you of your strength, your confidence, and ultimately your independence. The core reason this is so critical for us to understand is that we naturally begin to lose muscle mass starting as early as our 30s. However, that process accelerates at a shocking rate if we become sedentary in our 60s, 70s, and 80s. Your body is the ultimate pragmatist. It operates on a very simple and very unforgiving rule: use it or lose it. If you don't regularly give your muscles a reason to stay strong, your body will simply let them waste away. It sees them as metabolically expensive tissue that isn't being used. And the symptoms of this are everywhere. Do you ever feel unsteady on your feet, especially on uneven ground? Do you find yourself struggling to get up from a deep, comfortable chair, needing to push off with your hands? Do you find that a simple jar of pickles is now impossible to open? Please, hear me when I say this. That is not old age. That is muscle loss. And it is something you can fight back against. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, reports that falls are the leading cause of injury-related death among Americans aged 65 and older. And what is the #1 correctable risk factor for those falls? It's muscle weakness. I will never forget Eleanor, a patient of mine, 81 years young. She had a minor fall in her kitchen. She wasn't even hurt, just shaken up. But the fear took hold. She became terrified of leaving her apartment. She was a prisoner in her own home. We didn't send her to a fancy gym. We started with one single exercise. I asked her to stand up from her kitchen chair and sit back down 5 times in a row without using her hands, and to do it twice a day. That was it. At first, it was a struggle. But she was determined. 6 weeks later, she walked into my office without her cane. She told me, with tears in her eyes, that she had just walked to the corner store by herself to buy a newspaper. For her, it was like climbing Mount Everest. It was a total victory. Eleanor's story proves that you don't need an extreme workout to reclaim your strength. You just need consistent movement woven into your day. I want you to adopt what I call the power of 3 daily routine. First, 3 balance moves while you're brushing your teeth. Simply try standing on one foot for 30 seconds. Then switch to the other. Second, 3 strength moves during TV commercials. Each time a commercial comes on, do a few of those chair squats, just like Eleanor did. And third, 3 gentle stretches before you even get out of bed in the morning. Your muscles don't care about the date on your birth certificate. They only respond to one command: use me or lose me. This is so important. If you believe that movement is medicine, please comment "move" below to inspire everyone in our community. The fourth silent habit is perhaps the most deceptive, because it doesn't feel like a habit at all. It feels like a quiet reality. Habit number 4. The loneliness loop. Of all the dangers we're discussing today, this one is the most profoundly underestimated. We tend to think of loneliness as just a sad feeling, an emotional problem. But I'm telling you, as a physician, that groundbreaking medical research has now proven that chronic loneliness is a physical threat as dangerous as any disease. An enormous, multi-decade study confirmed a shocking truth. Chronic social isolation can increase the risk of premature death by nearly 50%. To put that in perspective, that is the same health impact as smoking 15 cigarettes every single day. Let that sink in for a moment. Being lonely is as bad for your long-term survival as a heavy smoking habit. The science behind this is fascinating and terrifying. When you are chronically lonely, your body is flooded with the stress hormone cortisol. This constant state of high alert weakens your immune system, making you more susceptible to infections. It spikes inflammation levels throughout your body, worsening conditions like arthritis and heart disease. And it is devastating for your brain. Research has shown that prolonged loneliness can accelerate memory loss and more than double a person's risk of developing dementia. It is a silent killer that works by slowly dismantling your body's defenses. And the core reason this trap is so effective is how quietly it creeps into our lives. It rarely happens overnight. It's a slow fade. It starts with one canceled coffee date with a friend. Then a phone call you meant to make, but you just didn't get around to it. It's one quiet weekend at home that turns into a quiet week, and then a quiet month. Your social world begins to shrink, millimeter by millimeter. Before you know it, isolation isn't an event anymore. It has become your new, silent, daily habit. It has become your normal. The symptoms of this are often mistaken for something else. Do you find yourself feeling perpetually tired or unmotivated? Do you get sick more often than you used to? Do you feel an underlying sense of anxiety or dread that you can't quite put your finger on? These are classic biological signs that your body is suffering from a lack of meaningful social connection. It's a primal human need, as essential as food and water, and your body knows when it's missing. I remember a gentleman named George, whose wife of 50 years had passed away. He was utterly lost. He told me, "Doctor, the silence in the house is the loudest thing I've ever heard." He stopped seeing friends. He stopped going to his old clubs. He was just waiting. He was fading away. We talked about how much he and his wife loved dogs. On a whim, I suggested he visit the local animal shelter, just to look. He ended up volunteering to walk the dogs for 2 hours a week. That small act changed everything. It gave him a routine. It gave him a purpose. And it connected him with other volunteers. He made new friends. The light came back into his eyes. He wasn't just surviving anymore. He was living again. George's story shows us that the solution isn't about being a social butterfly or having hundreds of friends. It is about a consistent, meaningful connection. I want you to remember that connection is medicine. So here is your prescription. First, make one call this week. Think of someone you haven't spoken to in a while, a niece, an old coworker, a friend from church, and just call to say hello. Second, join one thing. It could be a book club, a gardening group, a Bible study, or a walking club at the local park. And third, volunteer for just 2 hours a week, like George did. Helping others is one of the fastest and most powerful ways to heal the pain of loneliness. A simple 5-minute chat can literally change your body's chemistry for the better. If you understand how vital connection is, comment "connect" below. And that brings us to our fifth and final silent habit. This one is all about the stories we tell ourselves, and it may be the most important of all. Habit number 5, the brain retirement mindset. There is a deeply damaging myth about aging that has been woven into the fabric of our culture. It's the belief that senior moments are inevitable. It's the idea that our brains are destined to get fuzzy, that our memories will naturally fade, and that there is absolutely nothing we can do about it. We see it in birthday cards that make jokes about forgetting things. We say it to ourselves after misplacing our keys. "Oh, I'm just getting old." We have accepted this narrative of inevitable decline. But here is the critical truth I want you to understand today. Believing that myth is not just a passive act. It is an active choice that becomes a devastating self-fulfilling prophecy. The moment you stop challenging your mind, the moment you accept that decline is your destiny, is the moment your brain actually begins to atrophy. It begins to shrink and weaken, just like an unused muscle. You would never expect your arm to stay strong if you decided to keep it in a sling for a year. You would expect it to become weak and withered. The exact same principle applies to your brain. The science behind this is one of the most hopeful discoveries in modern medicine. It's called neuroplasticity. For centuries, we believed that the brain was fixed, that after a certain age, it could only go downhill. We now know that is completely false. Neuroplasticity is the brain's incredible, lifelong ability to reorganize itself, to form new connections, and to grow, even into our 80s and 90s. Every time you learn something new, whether it's a new recipe, a word in a different language, or a new route to the grocery store, you are physically building a new, stronger brain. You are forging new neural pathways. But this process only happens if you give your brain a reason to do it. If you stop learning, you are essentially telling your brain it can retire. And just like many people who retire from a job without a new purpose, the brain can quickly decline. The symptoms of a retired brain are subtle at first. It's not just about forgetting names. It's about losing your curiosity. It's when you stop asking questions. It's when you feel less engaged in conversations, or when you find yourself watching the same old TV shows instead of reading a book or trying a new hobby. It's a slow closing of the mind. I have a patient, Margaret, who just celebrated her 82nd birthday. A few years ago, her grandchildren moved to Italy. She was heartbroken, feeling disconnected. She could have simply accepted that. Instead, she downloaded a free language learning app on an old iPad. She started with just 5 minutes a day. It was hard. It was frustrating. But she kept going. Today, she has video calls with her great-grandchildren where she speaks to them in broken, but joyful Italian. She told me, "Doctor, I feel sharper and more alive than I did 10 years ago. Learning this new thing. It woke up a part of my brain that was sleeping." She didn't just learn a language. She physically rewired her brain for growth and vitality. Margaret's story is a beautiful testament to the power of a challenged mind. The solution is not to do a complicated brain training program. It is simply to remain a student of life. So, I urge you, give your brain a daily workout. Do puzzles, crosswords, Sudoku, or even a good old-fashioned jigsaw puzzle on the coffee table. Learn something new. It could be learning to play a song on the piano from a YouTube video, or taking a free online course about history. Engage with stories. Read books, listen to podcasts or audiobooks, and watch documentaries. Your brain can, and will, stay sharp for life, but only if you command it to. The secret to a long, sharp life is to never, ever stop learning. This one surprised me when I first truly understood its power. If you found this fact about the brain hopeful and inspiring, comment wow below. As we come to the end of our time together today, I want you to think back to the beginning of this video, and my patient, John. The vibrant gardener who had lost his spark, who felt foggy and unsteady on his feet. His decline wasn't a mystery, and it wasn't just old age. It was a perfect storm of these silent habits, working together against him. The pill organizer trap was clouding his mind and draining his energy. The healthy food illusion was quietly fueling inflammation in his joints. And the safety-first movement prison, that fear of falling after one small stumble, had kept him from the very activity that gave him joy and strength. Each habit was a thread, and together they had woven a net that was trapping him. But today, John is thriving. He is 75 years young now. After we worked together to create a brown bag review with his doctor, and he committed to just one gentle walk around his block each morning. The light came back into his eyes. He is back in his garden. He's happier, sharper, and healthier than he has been in years. John's story proves a profound and hopeful truth. The secret to a long, vibrant life isn't found in some magic pill or a complicated, expensive program. It is found in the small, quiet choices you make every single day. Your body has a remarkable, God-given ability to heal itself, if you just give it a chance. You have the power to break these habits, one by one. You have the power to rewrite your own story. As we wrap up, we've explored 5 critical habits that can truly transform our golden years. But knowledge is only powerful when we put it into action. So now, I have one important question for you. What is the one commitment you are making to yourself after watching this video? It could be as simple as, I will drink a glass of water before my morning coffee, or I will call my friend tomorrow. It could be, I will do 3 chair squats during the next commercial break. Please, share your personal commitment in the comments below. When you write it down, it becomes real. And it lets everyone else in this community know that they are not alone in taking that first brave step. And if you found real value and hope in our time together today, please show your support by giving this video a like. To ensure you continue on this journey with us, and never miss another one of these important conversations, hit that subscribe button. It's more than just subscribing. It's joining a community of friends, all dedicated to living our best, healthiest lives, together. And finally, think of just one person in your life who might need to hear this message today. A spouse, a sibling, a dear friend. Please, share it with them. You never know. It might just be the most important thing they hear all week. Thank you for your time. Be well and stay strong.